Hello, everybody. Hi, guys. Welcome to another very exciting business talk episode. Unfortunately, this was not shot on a Tuesday, but we are excited to be here. If you are watching this on YouTube, this is probably dropping on a Monday or anytime during the week. But feel free to come to Makers Valley and join us for our live shows. And today we are talking about marketing consulting. We've got a business owner right here. I am your host, Pelele Damini, and I will let everybody introduce themselves.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name is Sifa Tshiswaka Tumba. It is a mouthful, but I'm an African girl. As Lele very kindly introduced me, I am the founder and managing director of Fambantu Consulting.
Right, so lovely to have you.
Thank you.
And yes, as always, I'm your co-host, Sanela Makoba, and I'm excited for this episode. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to throw you right there in the deep. So tell us a little bit about Sifa.
Sifa is a very proud African woman. I was born in the DRC, in Kinshasa, raised here in South Africa, Johannesburg. I can say that I am definitely a big city girl. Between Kinshasa and Johannesburg, the two very big, very fast-paced, beautiful cities. And that's kind of my background. So I grew up in SA. I did my primary, my secondary, and tertiary school here. And I studied at the University of Johannesburg. I did a BCom there in entrepreneurship. And I did my bachelor's in business administration at a business school, Regenesis Business School. I studied my background. I actually got my first job in third year at varsity. It was a graduate program, and by the grace of God, I was not a graduate, but I got into the program. And that my career kind of just kicked off from there. 6 months into the graduate program, I was offered a full-time role as an assistant merchant planner. And I kind of, it was just from grace to grace and strength to strength from there. And so my background is in procurement. I was a procurement analyst for 7 years. I was going on 8 years when I finally resigned and started my own company.
Did the entrepreneurship bug bite you?
I believe it has always been in me.
Yeah.
And I resigned at a time where I had to be reminded that this is what you promised yourself.
Oh, yes.
I had a conversation. When I was still at UJ, I remember going into third year asking myself, so like, what's the plan now? And I always knew that I am a little too bossy to work for people for too long. A little too bossy and a little too I'm quite stubborn in a positive way with my own thoughts and ideas. It's difficult for someone to take an idea that you have and execute it on your behalf. It has to be you. And so, corporate was great for me, and I will never discount it. And I told myself that this is something that I should do. Let me go and understand how the corporate world works, how business works, how to work with people, how to be in a team. I believe that to be a great leader, you need to know how to be a good servant. Humility is really key. So that was always the plan, to start corporate first. I told myself, I'm giving you it wasn't 10 years, because I think I was about 21 at that age. And I said, yeah, by 30,
Sure.
let's leave.
Yeah.
And I pushed it to like 32.
Sure.
But yeah, I finally made the leap. And it's really not something that you can be ready for. It's something that you just have to jump into. That's why I even, pushed it out 2 years longer than I had to, because you want to let this get some traction first, and then I'll leave. Let me be getting some steady income, and then I'll leave corporate. But you get so comfortable, especially if you have that entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly.
You get very comfortable in that corporate life, that salary that's there every month, and you're working for people who like you, and you like your team.
Yeah.
And so, why do you want to leave? So unless God really like kicks you
Yeah.
on your bottom and says, go,
It's
which
time.
is what happened to me, you will stay. And so, yeah, no, the entrepreneurial bug has always been there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I just want to know, how did you narrow down your niche? How did FUM come about? Like, what was the decision making process, the strategy behind it?
So it was actually in 2020, during the first lockdown. And I, sat there and had another conversation with myself and said, girl, this is very dangerous. How can you just be depending your whole life on one stream of income?
Yeah.
Even the company that I was working for doesn't depend on one stream of income. They had multiple avenues of how, we're making money, and different entities under the the larger umbrella. And so as an individual, I think that we can all learn from that.
Yeah.
You cannot. This is no longer the days of our parents where they could have like 4 children
With one
and
job.
a 6-bedroom house with one job. It's, times have changed. It really has changed. And so, yeah, I took a good look and I said, okay, well, what can I do? And as always, every decision that I make, especially the critical ones, is always in prayer. And so I prayed about it, asked God to show me, what do I really have? What can I do with what I have?
Yeah.
And to sustain myself
Yes.
apart from this corporate job. People are losing work, etc. By the grace of God, I didn't lose mine.
Yeah.
But salaries are cut. It was a tough time for everyone. And so I had to kind of be a bit creative and pivot. So after that whole spiritual intervention, I found myself having dinner with a friend, and he is in biofood technology, and he's got a company that he runs across the continent, but his headquarters are here in South Africa, and he was really struggling with his procurement team.
Yeah.
And me being in procurement, I'm like, well, I can help with that. I can manage. At that point, I was already a senior analyst. I was really good at what I do.
Yeah.
And so I created like a training program for his team. And I went in there, and so I had the liberty or the comfort of doing that because we were still working from home and there wasn't much to do at that time as well. So I was able to go in between, and every Friday I was going to his office and training his marketing team and the procurement team,
So beautiful.
etc. And then that's, it went from there because he told me, well, you can train them, but like, how do I pay you? Like, this needs to be a serious thing. And I'm like, oh, it's going to be serious. So so literally the next day I went and registered my company, and in a week I had the company registered, and I sent him the banking details. I'm like, let's go. I'm ready for you.
Yeah.
And then we just went from there.
That is
There's sorry, Lily, there's something that you touched on, how your work environment taught you. Speak to us a little bit about that, because as entrepreneurs, when we step into places, we really see things differently. And I love how you said you noticed how the company had different income streams. How important is it for an entrepreneur to let the environment teach you, because you're not there by mistake?
Yeah.
There's a purpose why you've been led to where you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everything is on purpose and is for a reason. You really don't end up anywhere just by coincidence. So always, if anything in your life that, feels like you don't really understand why it feels like a useless thing,
Yeah.
try and take a step back. There is always a lesson in everything and everywhere that you are. So for me, what corporate taught me was politics, and and it taught me the importance of systems and structures. And I think I took a bigger appreciation for structures and systems when I left, to be on my own. And everyone asked me, and a lot of people were very concerned for me, that how are you doing? Is everything okay? Oh my gosh. And I almost started feeling crazy. Like, is something supposed to be wrong? What's supposed to go wrong? It was a very smooth transition for me because I understand how it's supposed to run. And you don't need to be in a managerial position in corporate to understand how things are supposed to be run. If you are a person of excellence and you take pride in everything that you do, you are going to be very mindful of what's happening around you, whether you're a lower level employee or you're a senior analyst or manager, etc. You take pride and you watch. You're not just like, okay, well, this is my department, so I'm going to focus here. No, you understand what's happening in the finance department, in the logistics department, and the marketing department. You need to start trying to understand how everything comes together, because at the end of the day, it's one team, right? It's one bank account. We're all getting paid from the same bank account. So this thing of, it's not my job. No.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It is. It kind of is.
Sure.
And especially if you have long-term aspirations and you're a very driven person, you're not going to go very far in life if you don't take care of something that belongs to others.
Yes.
So if you're not being a good employee, but tomorrow you hope to have your own business
with good employees,
like it's
Yeah.
not, this life runs on principles.
Yes.
It really does. And so if you're gonna try and cut corners in one area, don't expect it to go well in future. So I always had that mentality in mind, that long-term mentality, that I am going to do this business. I mean, I was running portfolios, managing my own portfolios for the business, and I'd always tell myself that I'm going to manage these portfolios as if this was literally my own company.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give it my all. And I know that it's easier said than done, because not everyone works in a corporate environment that has that is conducive, that is kind, that is supportive, etc. But be faithful to your future.
Yeah.
Don't be faithful to this person that is treating you some kind of way. Be faithful to who you're becoming.
Yes, I love that.
That is
Beautiful.
Yeah, like
That was really
please
good.
write that down.
Yeah, please do.
Be
That was
to your future.
Yeah.
I think you're speaking about it so naturally, like
Yeah.
it comes naturally for you to think that way. But I think with these conversations, we have gone to see that most entrepreneurs, they don't have that longevity in them because they're not thinking about the structures and the systems and all of those different things. So thank you for that, because I think a lot of people did need to hear that, because that's how you get stuck in employment, because you start seeing it and you start being stuck in it.
Yeah.
I am proud of you and I am proud of this conversation. Yeah, so a question that I wanted to have, right? So you're so structured and you're so disciplined. How do you deal then with failures when something comes? Because if you're planning ahead, challenge will come and it will oppose your structure. How do you deal with that?
So first thing is that you can, the more prepared and more disciplined and more structured you are, the chances of you seeing things going wrong are exponentially heightened. So you're able to see things a lot more proactively. And when you really do sit down and think about what you're doing and how you're going to do it, it's difficult for something to catch you by surprise. Honestly, it is. If you are very disciplined, I know that life has can throw something at you, but you would have thought about your ideas, your strategies so much that you've already created 5 different ways of how you could manage. You're already asking yourself, what can go wrong?
Yeah.
And what happens if something goes wrong? So, failure, you're able to deal with failure a lot better when you don't have that anxiety. And how you reduce the anxiety is by planning and having systems in place. If God forbid one of us have a car accident outside now, you're going to be a lot more stressed about that accident if you don't have insurance.
Yeah.
But now that you plan and you know that these are the things that life can throw at you, and you've covered yourself with insurance, and you know that the only thing you need to worry about is that you are okay, that the other person involved is okay, and you know that the car is covered, you don't need to stress about that as well. So the better you plan, the easier things are. And in terms of failures, you know what, you just need to embrace it. Failure is something that is never going to go away, and it only teaches you. And so I kind of just try and trick my mind into looking at failure in a positive perspective, in just that well, there are lessons to be learned here, and I'm only going to come out stronger, and let this failure not be in vain. I think I'm too prideful, if I can put it that way, to go through something and have it not have a purpose.
Yeah.
So it must have a purpose. And then, we learn, we grow. And I think you also need to let go of shame. Like you need to kind of be a bit shameless. Otherwise, you're going to be afraid of failure and you're never going to go anywhere. But when you're able to embrace things, and it starts with being really free with yourself, honest within yourself first, so that anything that confronts you that might try and be embarrassing or shameful, or I failed at this and that it doesn't have that weight that might cause you to procrastinate or be shy to try again. So just embrace it. It's a part of life, and if I die, I die. Let's go.
Yeah, sticking on the question about failure, you spoke a lot about prayer and spiritual, having a spiritual source. So I want you to speak a little bit more about that, because when linked to failure, I know that when I fail in business, I need to go back. I'm a Christian, so I need to go back to God, and spend time with Him so that He can revive me. I don't see a revival in myself.
Yeah.
Because when I hit failure, I need a higher power than me.
Absolutely.
So please speak to us about the importance of that as an entrepreneur.
This life is so spiritual. It's very spiritual. And anyone who tells you otherwise or believes otherwise, you're only fooling yourself and you're only playing yourself. Life is extremely spiritual. And the thing about life, I'm a Christian as well. I believe in God. And I believe that God has created the world with principles that He's put in place. And so you don't actually need to be a Christian to have certain things work out for you because of principles.
Yeah.
So you see a lot of billionaires, millionaires, a lot of influencers, leaders are doing great things, according to the standards of this world.
Yeah.
And they can, because there are principles in place. You need to be disciplined. You need to work on yourself. You need to collaborate with other people.
Yes.
There's strength in numbers, etc., etc. So those kinds of principles, if anybody applies the discipline of those principles, they can be successful.
Yeah.
But, and the very big but, is that there's no longevity in it unless you're doing things in the spirit that are anti-Christ. You have to be praying to something. Everybody is praying to something. You're either praying to yourself, you're praying to the Most High God, or you're praying to idols and other things that we won't mention. But everyone is doing something. Everybody is very spiritual. It's about now, what is the power and the spirit behind that? And what I believe is that I want to go to bed every night with a clear conscience, knowing that everything that I have, I didn't build it on my own. Because, like we said, life happens and things will be shaken. And when that shaking comes, I hope what you have is going to stand, And I have the confidence that what I have is going to stand because it didn't come from myself.
Nice.
And so, that's, spirituality is super important for me.
Awesome.
Okay, so I just wanted, for the people who are unfamiliar with your business and are here for the first time, please just elaborate on what it is that you do, what are the services.
Cool. So I'm a business strategist. As I mentioned earlier, I run my own management consulting firm, and we specialize in business strategy. So we help entrepreneurs and SMEs, etc. In future, we are looking to expand and be able to consult for government agencies, politicians, etc. as well. We create strategies, whatever kind of strategy it is that you need, whether it is a growth strategy, transformation strategy, market entry strategies, product strategies. Everything begins with a plan. And we don't just create those plans, but we help you implement those plans. And we do, some soft trainings as well, especially with the entrepreneurs that are kind of wet behind the ears, don't know where to start, how to start. We give we give access to our network as well. I do like to go all the way with my clients. I am a person of partnership and longevity.
Yeah.
So every person who comes and, for example, you just need a business plan, I'm always going to look outside of, okay, the business plan, yes, but then now we have a business plan, now what?
Yeah.
We need funding, we need a team, we need this and that. So it's never just like, okay, this is what you paid me for, here you go. And so we really are full service. We are very passionate about people and getting into the ring with our clients. So it's important for me to get to know my clients and understand what drives them, what motivates them, so that I can understand and become a part of their vision. Because once we share vision, then we can really, create magic, as a team. So yeah, anything from business strategies to plans to corporate identity. Let me now go through the list properly. Market research, we do procurement as well, of course. We consult with supply chains, trainings. Yeah, go to my website www.
Well,
But yeah, yeah, and you'll get the whole service list there.
beautiful. So obviously you would trust her with everything that she said. Planning is like, I think that's your mindset. Really,
Yeah.
I trust you. I wanted to speak about women empowerment because I saw that as one of your things that you're doing all the time, and I think there are like conferences that are coming up.
Yeah.
Please just elaborate for the audience.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I'm very excited about my little baby. So we've got a conference, a yearly conference that we started, or rather we inaugurated last year. So this August will be our second one. It's called I Am Everything. And it's just about celebrating the multifaceted, English is escaping me, the multifaceted nature of women. I just always felt like people are always trying to put girls in boxes, and it frustrates me. And sometimes, unbeknown to us ourselves as well, we tend to follow suit and put ourselves in those boxes as well, because that's the society that we find ourselves in, and we kind of just tend to conform. And so it takes a consciousness to go against that and embrace that I am created by the God who created the heavens, the earth, the sun, the moon, the stars, the grass and the trees, the animals, so many different things. What a creative God. And that's the God that created me. So how am I just going to come here and insult him by just being this one-dimensional person? And so that's really the story behind the name I Am Everything. And that's what I want to impart and share with women and encourage women to embrace everything that they are. We still have a long way to go, and that's why these are still conversations. I'm blessed enough to be exposed to a country like South Africa that is so progressive. On the continent, it is an outlier. We don't see that many women doing what women are doing in SA, having such great political careers, having such influential positions in major corporates. These are things that are still upcoming. We're still hearing things like the first female CEO, the first female this and that, and it shouldn't be that way. And so we need to, accelerate this. We need to get moving. It really needs to get moving. The name of my company, Fam Bantu, ties into that as well, because I am a Black African woman, and I wanted my business to represent what I am. And what I believe is that for Africa to really achieve true social and economic prosperity, women must be more involved. Women must be more,
I bring this message.
women must be more at the forefront. We're not saying that men must go and stand behind us. No. What we're saying is that women need to be more present, more represented, sitting in rooms, making decisions that for the countries, we all have our strengths. Every one of us have value to bring, both men and women. And what we need is a collaboration.
Yeah.
Not that we know that men are the heads of the household. and women are to submit to their own husbands. They didn't say that women are meant to submit in every sphere of society.
Yeah.
Women need to be represented. Women can take the lead in business, in politics, and this and that, and we must.
Yeah.
I think that if we look back from colonization to where we are today, if we look back at these decades, it shows that there is a serious lack of love from our leaders. And that nurturing, that mothering, that care for the children, for the country, you know, when I say children, I'm thinking of the country, you know, as a whole. That is a dimension that women bring into leadership. Women are thinking about tomorrow, not just what we're going to eat today. If you give women money to manage, she's not going to go and blow it all today because she knows that my kids need to eat for the rest of the month until I get this money again.
Yeah.
And she's going to manage that so well. You would even ask yourself, how much did I give this girl? That there's still enough.
Sure.
That's what women bring. And that's what our countries need. We need people who are really thinking about tomorrow. I'm very passionate about, you know, the children. It's ridiculous that there are kids in Africa that have no food to eat. It's ridiculous. It shouldn't be that way. And so for me, you know, even with you know, we've got topics like, you know, gender-based violence. We have, you know, child marriages that are continuing. Why are these things still prevalent in 2024?
Yeah.
Because women are not sitting in the circles where the elders of the community are making are making decisions for the community. So we have a bunch of men agreeing amongst themselves that, yeah, child marriage is okay.
Yeah.
There's no woman to voice her opinion and show you why child marriage shouldn't be okay, to show you why mutilation is not okay. It's not a man who can push these things. It's a female who would push these things. And so, yeah, you know, for women's empowerment and their position in society is very important to me. And so I Am Everything is about really being intentional in creating those communities of women where we can come together and, you know, collaborate, but also just inspire a new way of thinking. What I want to do is change the way we're thinking about ourselves, the way we see ourselves. It starts with confidence. You can't do anything. You cannot be influential. You cannot be a change maker if you do not have confidence in yourself. So it starts with that confidence. And that confidence comes from a place of loving yourself. And so that's what we do at this conference. We just want to love on the ladies so that they can go out and be great.
Oh, I'm so jealous. You speak with such passion and power on this topic. And yeah, if I could identify as a woman, just
You're more than welcome to come, though. But men need to come and support us. Yeah, absolutely.
we have a date.
Love it.
Yeah, so I just want you, before we're going to open up the floor to some questions, not too many guys, but to open up the floor. And I would like you to speak a little bit about, I saw the work that you did with the UN. So quite interesting. So tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so it wasn't directly with the UN. It's an agency of the UN called the Best Diplomats, and what they do is they create a simulation of the UN's general assemblies, and they're basically training people to become diplomats in future. So yeah, I applied for that program. I went. Was it last year? I think it was the year before. And yeah, it was very interesting. You know, they give us topic that we had to go and discuss. We got into groups as well with different nations. So everyone represented a nation, and we were also encouraged to not represent our own nation, so that it was just about encouraging people to get to know about different countries, and of course, you know, just creating unity and breaking down those cultural barriers, etc. So it gives you an opportunity to learn about other countries. I chose the Central African Republic.
Okay.
I believe the topic was about AI and how AI is affecting you know, not just Africa, but the world and humans, and the danger of AI taking over, you know, from human jobs, and, you know, just the whole scare and conversation around how we're going to regulate AI and make sure that it works with us, in harmony with us, it improves how we're living, etc. So those are the topics that we were touching on. And yeah, it was really exciting. You know, like I said, in future, I do plan to evolve Fambantu Consulting into a consulting firm that is advising politicians and government organizations across the continent. So that was just kind of like, my first steps in tasting and seeing and understanding, what it's about. It was very exciting. Met people from hundreds of countries that I've never even heard of before.
Sure.
It was a really incredible experience.
So we'll definitely have you back here
Yeah.
when you're there.
I would love to. It'd be my honor.
Last question from me before we open up to the audience. I want to speak about networking because I can see that your growth and your progress in your business comes with how you affiliate yourself. So, how has networking played a part in your business growth, and how do you actually sit back and say, "I'm going to do this program"? Like, what's that strategy of looking for the spaces to be present in?
Yeah, networking is super important because, at least for me, I hear people talking about what is that business called? Business term, dead calls. Like, when you do like 100 calls and then you'll get maybe 10
Cold
callbacks.
calling.
Yeah,
Cold
cold calling.
Yes.
And I heard these numbers. I said, excuse me. Because you're trying to figure out strategies of how do I find clients.
Sure.
And I hear this cold calling thing and I'm like, yeah, no, that doesn't sound like something that I'm about to do. So the next best thing for me was networking.
Sure.
And so, yeah, I would just like go online and Google business conferences, etc. Also using my my community on LinkedIn, just seeing what everybody else is up to.
Yeah.
And piggybacking off of them, and it kind of just built up from there. And it's only after that I started getting a bit of a structure to which events that I'm going to attend and why. At first it was just about making myself seen, and now it's more strategic that what understanding the kinds of people who would be at a certain place, and what I could benefit from and how they can benefit from me as well. And so, yeah, network is super important. It's really the only way I've been getting clients because I am not calling.
You're here today because of like you met at a networking event.
Exactly.
Today we're here.
And here
So
we are.
really, really done.
Yeah.
So we want to open up the floor for questions. So if you have a question, please put your hand up. There is a question there.
Yeah, I just want to ask about you made a statement saying being faithful to the future. Sometimes it's hard, but like slowly going, there's so many challenges like as an entrepreneur. You struggle with money, you struggle with bills. So you tend to get distracted and start doing smaller things and lose focus on the bigger vision.
Mm.
And like you said at the beginning of the talk, you're saying that people you talk to then discourage you like that. What do you think? You think you can make that on camera?
Yeah.
Look at you, you only have 50K.
Mm.
I mean, you're going nowhere. So my question is, how do you actually manage the crisis around you, but keep the vision on the big picture?
Firstly, I'll give you an advice from the Bible. Write the vision down and make it plain. That's number one. I have a big board in my office and the vision is there. And if you look at my vision on the board and look at where I am today, anyone would be like, okay, girl, how you gonna do that? But that's the vision, and I'm sticking to it. I'll give you my personal experience and advice, and I hope that would help you. So I won't really answer your question directly, but I'll tell you how it's been for me. First, I blocked out all the noise. Everybody who has even a pinch of negativity
Ugh.
is shut down entirely. You don't get a say. I am very sensitive to who gets to speak over my life. And people are very casual with their negativity. They don't even, it's not always that people want to intentionally be negative. Some of them are just very casual about it, and even those things you have to be so closed off to. So I withdraw. I guess I'm an introvert at nature, but if you're not, then you just become one for the purposes of your success. Withdraw yourself. Be so picky about where you go, what you're doing, who you're doing it with, why you're doing it. Ask yourself really, really these, intelligent questions. Why am I going there? What am I going to get from it? Even if it's just a lunch. You're in a sensitive place in your life right now. very sensitive, very, very sensitive. So you have to be careful about what you're doing and who you're doing it with and who gets to speak to you. Not everyone gets to speak to you. There was a time that I even told my mom and my sister that these little arguments that you guys keep having in the house, you're disturbing my mental. Like, I can't. Do you understand that because the gravity of being an entrepreneur and it being like, it's just you, like everything, if you don't eat at the end of the month, like that's you. Like, there's nobody, no one's coming to save you. Like, it's just me. So I have to be sensitive. And so you even put the people around you in line that, look, I can't. There's a time that you have to be selfish because you can't help the people around you if you stay in the same place. So it does come a time where you just need to push everybody back. Don't ask me, don't call me, I'm not available. Let me build myself so that I can become something that can be impactful in the life of other people, you know? Yeah, and so yeah, your mindset is important. Protect your mind. Be intentional about your circles, and you really do have to have faith. I can't, there's no other formula. You must have faith in God, and you must make sure that what you're doing is what you've been sent to do, because there's only grace for you in the place that you were sent to. You can be doing something really incredible, and for now I feel that you know AI and IT and these digital guys are really in fashion. Every second guy you meet is, but it's not for everyone. If there's no grace for you there, people can be making millions off of it every month and it won't work for you, not because you're stupid or you've done it the wrong way, just because it's not your thing. So you have to take a step back and really pray about it and ask God what it is that he's telling you to do, what your life is meant to be, what your purpose is, what the gifts are that he's placed inside of you. There are things in you that you've probably not even recognized that are in you. And that is only going to come out from you in a place of prayer. And prayer changes the atmosphere. It changes things. I am a testament that prayer changes things, because there are so many things that I shouldn't be able to do. I shouldn't be. When I did my first conference last year, I shared it at the conference. I did not have 20 Rand towards that conference. The conference took me about 120,000 Rand to put together. I sold tickets for 750 Rand to 40 women. I made no money from that thing. It was just about this initiative that I believed God placed on my heart to do. And God sends the people. When I stopped chasing sponsors, I'm going to look for Verve and Coca-Cola and this and that. When I left them, God sends people to me. Ordinary people, not people with huge bank accounts and big businesses. They came behind the vision. Why? Not because of something that I've done, but because of what God has ordained for me to do. And then when God ordains for you to do something, the world opens up to you and everything is going to come towards you to be able to help you achieve what you're supposed to do. So honestly, I'm living by faith day to day. It's not that everything is together. It's by faith. And I'm just trusting that I've been sent out to do a certain thing and I've got certain gifts. So let me use the gifts that I have. And then I'm taking God on his word. And one thing God is not going to do is embarrass himself. Yeah.
She's beaming because you've just spoken about
Yeah, I just also wanted to say, because I think we have these conversations generally, and I think for me, the pattern that God is showing is that he really will use the atmosphere for whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
We didn't speak about this. I think the previous episode we were talking about really intensely about our faith.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know our faith before you got here.
No.
And the conversation is like literally similar or the same, because God will do what he wants to do with any given space.
Yeah.
And for me, I think it just keeps confirming, like,
absolutely,
God says go, and everybody, you have the potential to be in business if you ask for what it is that God is calling you to do. And yeah.
Cool. Do we have any other question, Mr. Musia?
Okay, I'm a bit on a lighter note. Just light-hearted ones. If you could, what would you have done differently? Then the other question is, did you have a mentor, somebody that hold your hand and guide you in your journey in business? Because um, what's this? Retrospectively, Black people don't generally have a history of business in their families or their surroundings, so there's nobody there to kind of tell you left, right, stop, go, wait. So did you have that? And then lastly, work-life balance. How did you do it, or how are you doing it? Are you coping?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, let me start with your first question. What would I do differently?
Yeah, looking back.
Um, Looking back, I would have taken my personal relationship with God a lot more serious a lot sooner. I recognize that He's been talking to me for a very long time, and I was just not tapping in enough. I may have been a lot further today if I had been more attentive to His Spirit many years ago. So I always knew, like, overall, what I need to do, but I was very nonchalant. I wasn't praying the way I should be praying, tapping into, the sensitivity of the spirit the way that I should have. So, yeah, I think that's what I would have done differently, just taken my relationship more seriously and not left it to, I have a relationship with God through my mother because she's the one who's dragging me, that she's dragging me to church. So that's the one thing I would do differently. Secondly, mentors. I think my father is my mentor, my first mentor. I've never really had like an official mentor like that, but the gentleman who hired me into my first job, I consider him a mentor as well. Um, yeah, but my dad definitely, she mentioned God has been going before her.
So your dad's an entrepreneur?
He is both. My dad has been in business, and he's an entrepreneur as well by nature. He's always been doing his own thing throughout my whole life. He always had his corporate job and then this other stuff that's just going on. Yeah, but he's a business guy through and through. He studied communications in the US. He came back to Africa after he graduated. He was with Citibank. He was a banker for a while. That's how we ended up in South Africa. From Citibank, he went to Liberty Life. From Liberty Life, he was at Tiger Brands, which was Meadow Feeds back then. He was always in marketing, export manager, marketing, etc., until he eventually got to Avon. And at Avon, he was also in exports and marketing for Africa and Australia. So, I mean, he had a very impressive corporate career. And he also got to a place finally where he was like, look, I've done it all, and now it's time for me. And yeah, he ventured back into the DRC where he started his aviation company. But yeah, so it's funny because growing up, I never wanted to be a business person because I always felt that everything he does is boring. He's always in these long meetings, and all I want to do is play and have fun. And so for me, I had this negative relationship with this business stuff. So growing up, I was grooming myself to become a doctor. And here I am. It's a long story, but now here I am doing exactly what my father did. And now I go back to all of his lessons and his trainings and every conversation that we've ever had my whole life. He has been training me for this. And so I do feel very prepared, grace to him. And, he continues to be a great mentor and someone that at least I can bounce ideas off of. Yeah, he's a great guide. Whenever I'm feeling like, what the hell? What am I doing? He's my guy. He's been through a lot, so he's got a wealth of experience to share with me, and so I'm lucky to have that.
Blessed.
Are you doing okay?
Work-life balance?
Oh, work-life balance. Jeez, listen, I'm confused. One thing I'm gonna do is have fun. Prioritize fun. I get that question a lot. My cousins even ask me that all the time. Like, how do you do it? I'm like, girl, prioritize it. You have to prioritize it. If you're not prioritizing things, then they're going to fall to the last on your list. And I try and have fun with myself in everything that I'm doing. If I'm at an event like this, I'm having fun now. I'm making it as fun as possible. We're giggling, we're making jokes.
Sure.
Can't be too serious. The only serious thing in this life is God. Everything else is vibes. So I do prioritize fun, and I look at how I can mix it into my daily life. And I do like what's the word? I separate my time. So let's say I have a conference and I have a birthday party today. I'd likely leave the conference early and, attend the birthday party. I'll, divide my time. I'm not going to just be like, okay, this is going to take my whole day. No, I divide my time and I make sure that I'm present in the lives of the people that I love, because it is very important. There's no sense in doing anything that we're doing as entrepreneurs if you don't have people around you, who are sharing this journey with you, who can cry with you, who can celebrate with you, who are with you, towards the end of your life. People are important, and we can't neglect people.
Yeah.
So we have to prioritize that work-life balance. That's why I have two phones. One of them is floating around this room, the other is in my handbag. And I separate, people like that
Yeah.
this is business and work. And after a certain time each day and on weekends, don't bother. I'm not available. And then I focus on my friends and family, so yeah, that's how I manage it. And I think I'm doing a good job.
So please remind me the name of your company.
Fambantu Consulting.
I am asking because with your women empowerment initiative, is it a pledge under what you're already into? Or is it more of NGO? What is it?
It is more of just community work. It falls a part of the corporate social responsibility aspects of the business. So it's not for profiting or anything. It's just really about community building, networking opportunities, etc., and just giving back to the communities that we operate in.
Well, thank you so much, Sifa, for this very, very, very informative episode. I am so excited to carry on engaging with everything that you do.
Yes.
Guys, it's Fambantu, FEMME, right? Bantu Consulting. But we'll write all of the details in the description for everybody who is at Makers Valley and is part of the network. We'll send that information forward on the WhatsApp group. But thank you for coming. This was so beautiful.
Thank you. This was an amazing conversation.
Yeah, amazing conversation.
Thank you.